We've seen some amazing things, but that, my friends, is something we've never seen.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Brandon Month's Advice.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice. You just locked yourself into the playoffs.
Nice.
Got it.
Talk with old Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Completely speechless, to say the least.
Man, I am honestly so baffled by that decision. Brandon Cruz Month's Advice. It's Brandon Month's Advice.
Green flag in the air. Brandon Cruz Month's Advice to the front.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast. We're at Talladega this week. Hashtag Raise Hail, Praise Dale, the greatest speedway on earth, my lord. Let's do this. Let's get right into it. First off, I do have a Patreon. If you guys would like to support me, feel free to look at my Patreon. It's in the description. Follow me on Twitter for all the updates that I give during the race week and the AFL video. For this week's AFL Week 1 is up. It probably won't do you any good for the 3-game contest, but for the showdown contest, I still talk about each team. You guys can look at that. That is already up. And the Cup Series video, that'll be up tomorrow night, Saturday evening, for the Cup race on Sunday. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. I'll easily talk 20 minutes about it, just covering everything that I think is going to happen in the race, everything that they're bringing in with the new aero package and blah, 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 no restrictor plate and blah, blah, blah. That'll be the fun video to listen to. This is going to be kind of short. It's an Xfinity race at Talladega. One of two things is going to happen. It's going to be Wreckfest or it's going to be green the whole time. I'm leaning more to Wreckfest just because there's always rookies and people who aren't familiar with this type of race, and then they usually end up making mistakes. The guys that I like, I love Jeff Green this weekend. I wrote him an article on Burnout Avenue. I love Jeff Green, and the reason why I love him is because he only runs two types of races, the super speedways and some of the short tracks every year for RSS Racing. He usually runs Iowa, sometimes he runs Bristol, and he runs Daytona and Talladega. The last 4 races he has from last season and Daytona this year, starting in 2018, he had 11th at Daytona, 13th at Talladega, and a 23rd at Daytona, and then a 7th at Daytona earlier this year. Jeff Green is my man. I am riding Jeff Green this week. Way overowned, and he's only $4,800. People, hop on Jeff Green. I just pray to God he doesn't start dead last. Let's have him start like 29th, 31st, and it'll be perfect. Another guy I'm looking at is Max Tolman, or I think he's Tolman, but I always call him Tolman. He's in the 42 car this week for MBM Motorsports. With his own company sponsoring the car, he has absolutely nothing to lose. He's already made one start this year. He finished, I think he finished 23rd at Daytona this year, maybe 27th. I just went blank. Either way, Max, I just wrote it down. Let me go back to this. Max finished 28th at Daytona, but he was experimenting. He was right up in the front and got caught up. He says he wants to learn from that. He's gonna be a lot more conservative during the race, and so I honestly think that he's gonna be there at the end. Timmy Hill's another guy. He is showing some speed. He's 12th fastest in the first practice. I know that don't mean much on a super speedway, but with a underfunded car like the 66, I at least like to see some speed in the draft. See if it can hold its own, because you can still have a slow car in the draft, but it'll still be slower than other vehicles. I like Timmy Hill a lot this week. 4 other guys that I'm looking at, not 4 other guys, like not the number 4, but 4 other guys I'm looking at, like David Starr. I like David Starr. Matt Mills in the 5 car, Mike Harmon in the 74 car, Chad Fitchum in the number 13 car. The reason this is interesting is Chad has been in the 42 this entire year. He's running the 13 this year, or this race, to try and get that car's ownership points higher. So Chad was real aggressive in the 500. I think he got actually wrecked, or at Daytona. I think he got wrecked at Daytona, but in the 13 car, this is MBM's worst quote-unquote statistical vehicle out of their stable right now, so the 13 needs some points, so I expect Chad Fitchum to ride in the back, just avoid wrecks, be there at the end. I'm looking at a top 15 finish for almost every MBM Motorsports. I don't think Carl Long is really going to tell them the race until it's like 20 laps to go. They're just going to ride in the back, hopefully be there at the end, and make it through the big shit show that we will see right there. Ray Black Jr., I like. Brandon Brown, I love Brandon Brown. I like Brandon Brown a lot, and honestly, I might just make a lineup not even touching any guys at like $9,000, because it all depends on where they qualify tomorrow. Pick guys in the back and try and get someone or 2 people that are low owned starting mid pack, or maybe even in the top 15 or something that nobody's going to have. Find that low-owned guy and play him. We also got Brett Moffitt in the number 8 car. I don't know if a lot of people are going to go to Brett Moffitt this week. Brett isn't a bad driver. He has raced around here and there. He's not a bad driver. I don't know if a lot of people are going to know where he is, but DraftKings finally got smart and actually kind of made the 8 car like the salary wise, like it matches pretty much. But we'll just have to see. I don't know if Brett Moffitt's going to be really owned, and then Ryan Siege is really high owned as well. He's in the 39 car. Ryan Siege usually does well at Daytona and Talladega, so we'll have to just see where they qualify to go to and to see who we want to go with. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at so many stupid stats right now. Jeffrey Earnhardt was strong at Daytona. Finished 8th, led some laps, depending where Earnhardt qualifies. I'm picking that 18 Toyota Supra. I almost said Camry. But I like him. And then, honestly, guys, like, I expect everyone in this race to run it. I don't see any starting parks in there. A lot of the underfunded teams find these races as their best chance to make money, their best chance to get some good points, and possibly a win. No, I don't think anyone's going to start in park. I really don't think anyone's going to start in park. And because of that, everyone is in play. I'm picking guys in the back. I know a lot of people are going to do that, and that strategy is not as like isolated as it used to be when it first started, like in 2016, 2014, and all that, when people first started playing Super Speedway DraftKings, and we had a lot of new players. Now that everyone knows basically play people in the back here, you have to both play people in the back and play people that you think are going to be low owned. So maybe pick 4 guys on the back, and then 2 just dart throws at low-owned drivers or something like that. So that's my short video. I know it's really short. It's Talladega. Like I said, the one tomorrow is easily going to be about 20 minutes. I'm thinking about everything that I think is going to happen with the 8-inch spoiler, the removal of restrictor plates. But we will get into all that tomorrow. You guys have a fantastic day. Don't get married to your money, and enjoy Talladega. Talladega, y'all, the best track ever. Let's go. Let's go, Earnhardt. Let's do it. Let's go, Earnhardt. Let's go.